everyone, Diane here. Welcome to my studio and welcome to episode 2 of our new podcast, The Why of Art. Today, Tamsin and I are going to be chatting about something that's on our minds right now, which is the dilemma of the law of reverse effort and what we can do about it to reduce our own tendencies to be self-critical and to make things harder than they should be. And at the same time, we're going to be painting some feathers. So let's get started, as all the best artists say. So here we have on our desk today some feathers, which we have gathered in the garden here over the last few weeks. I have a feeling that the birds must be shedding their feathers rather a lot at the moment because they're everywhere, aren't they?
Everywhere you go, there's a feather. And a lot of these are from the chickens. This is Gabriel's contribution.
Gabriel's our cockerel.
His one tail.
For anyone
feather.
who doesn't know who Gabriel is.
Well, yes.
It could be a member of the family.
I think that's his too.
Nice fluffy
quite
one.
Pretty and fluffy, aren't they?
That proves that he doesn't mind being left out at night if he doesn't get into his coop.
Yeah.
He's got plenty of downy insulation in his...
Won't help him if a fox gets in,
But
it'll
on the
certainly
other
help
hand,
him from the cold.
yeah, I wouldn't want to paint that, would you? I mean, how on earth would you paint that?
With a lot of effort.
Oh, that's what we're trying to do without today, isn't it? That's what we're talking about, basically. Trying less hard.
Yes.
So we'll pick a simple feather.
Pick a simple feather.
One like that.
This one's quite good. Maybe I'll have that one as my... That's a kind of archetypal
feather, yeah. It's got quite a lot of fluff down the bottom, though. You might want to reduce that a bit.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
well,
so
I'll take that as my first model.
Unfortunately, most of our feathers are rather somewhat on the black side, aren't they? We haven't got anything pretty in here. We don't have any...
Well, there's this one. I think that's a buzzard.
Orchestral.
Or a kestrel. It could be a kestrel, yeah. And then...
You can always hope for a buzzard.
Someone might be able to tell us that.
Oh, that one's got a bit of brown on it. What's that?
I don't know. Could be one of our chickens, I suppose. This is certainly one of the chickens.
Yeah. Yeah, so plenty of inspiration there.
And this one's pretty. Maybe you should do that one.
Oh,
But
yeah. No, I don't believe in fluff.
look here. That's
Oh, it looks
so
like someone's
delicate.
been eating it. Someone's taken a bite out of that one.
Yeah.
Yes.
Would you like a strawberry?
Oh, thank you very much. Yes, I just could do with one of those to keep my sugar levels up a little bit.
Yeah, absolutely.
Natural sugars, always good. Strawberries from our garden are absolutely marvellous. Tamsin wanted to introduce you to this Siamese twin.
Oh, yes. It's cute, isn't it?
2 strawberries growing together. We have to eat them sometime, you know. We can't keep them forever.
No, probably not. You might have a point there.
Now, today we're going to be, as usual, loyal to our paper supplier, Meaden, and both of us have elected to paint on a relatively large sheet of cold press 100% cotton. It's 12 by 9 inches.
That was largely because you told me to.
It was largely because I told you to. Only because of this, the following reason. Yes, you might be able to fit a feather onto a small piece of paper, but why? You know, I did a few here that are all on small pieces of paper, but I knew that I wanted them one on a page, and they were just practice and whatever. But if you want to actually make anything into a painting, you want a bigger piece, even bigger than that. You know, it's like, give yourself space.
Yeah, whereas today I'm approaching it from the opposite side, which is that I'm not expecting anything to happen at all. So I need room to make mistakes.
Well, that's exactly it, yes. I mean, I'm not expecting anything miraculous to come out of this because that's the whole point of this exercise, isn't it, really?
Yep, exactly.
So, and you're using what paints?
I thought I'd use these ones, the 48 set that we've been talking about, and I've been using them for my challenge paintings. I'm a couple of days behind, but I'm not doing badly.
I think you're doing miraculously.
I'm on day, what is it? It's the 15th today, and I've done day 12, so I'm 3 days behind. So, in fact, maybe I'll not paint feathers. Maybe I'll just do the challenge.
No, you're painting feathers. That's the law of diminishing returns.
Right. So I'm using
You're
them.
told.
I'm going to try this palette, which I haven't used one before with the bigger spaces. I've always used the ones like that are divided up. So this is new. and I thought I might want to do some veins or something with that. And I have a number 5 quill brush, which is brand new.
It is. Has not yet seen the light of day. It's stiff as a board.
So that's me.
Yes, I'm going to pop that in some water so it can start softening up. That's you. And have you forgotten anything? No? Well, you've got access, of course, to this lightweight dish of pens here if you want to do anything with white or black or gold or silver or whatever.
Yep.
You know where they are.
And I expect I will do that.
And they're sitting in, this is actually one of those other things that Meaden does, which is a ceramic, it's supposed to be a water pot. It's very elegant, and I don't like it for water, but I love it for pens. I don't like it for water because it's too small and
too
heavy. So
crash.
It stays there and it doesn't fall over. Same paper, and I'm going to be using these paints here. I keep standing up because I'm not entirely sure that you can see what I'm doing, but I think you can.
The camera can see the whole table.
Okay, expert. What we've got here, this is a Traveller's watercolour set. And when we were looking at Meaden last night, we noticed that several people have actually bought this, and I think they're using it to take on holiday. And it's rather good, actually. It's not unlike the Viviva set, in a way, although it's actually better organised because you can see all the colours at once. That is the slight snag with the Viviva ones, I have to admit. I don't use them very often. But we've got blues here and going down into purples. Then we've got greens going into browns and dark red going down into lighter red, oranges, yellows. And here we've got some of what they call macaron colours, which are pastels for English speakers. Macaron? I thought that was something you ate.
Yeah.
And then here we've got some, what are they? Are they
I
metallics?
think they're metallics, yeah.
Right, and this is as well.
They're sort of pearly, aren't they?
Pearlescent things, yeah. So I thought I would use those just for the fun of it and see what happens.
Could be interesting.
Could be a disaster, but anyway, who cares? And then in here as well comes a water brush set, and I don't know if I'm going to use that. I think I'm instead just going to stick with my size 4 Meaden quill brush.
I've never tried. I remember trying the Kuretake one and finding it really good, but these seem quite long, don't they?
They are quite chunky, but you could try it. It is a different experience, and you get a lot of water coming onto the paper when you use those. If you want to, it can be, yes, that's quite a brush, isn't it? Yes.
I'll have to experiment with them at some point. I'll let you be the guinea pig on that, though.
No, well, I have guineaed the pig on this, and I think it's quite interesting, but you have to be in the right frame of mind, so we'll leave that for another day. Right then. Oh, and we have a pencil.
Yes.
And that's where we're going to start, isn't it? With a line. Got a palette, got some water. You've got your water, got the palette. So off we go.
Righty ho.
All right. So we'll just get started on this, shall we?
Yep.
And then we can talk as we go along, I guess.
Yes, and this is very much not my excuse that noise. Not my natural way of doing things, because normally I would want to give myself the security blanket of a sketch and of a realistic colour. So no sketch and wrong colours. Here we go.
Yeah, well, I'm in the same boat. We both put ourselves deliberately in the boat of insecurity because I don't normally use these kinds of paints. And, my preferred method is to paint with paints that come out of a tube. Although I often do use pans these days, especially the Kuretake ones, I'm a little bit more sort of slapdash or take it as it comes kind of thing.
Creative?
No, it's not creative. It's just lazy.
See, there you are, criticising what comes naturally to yourself.
Yeah, but it is kind of a sort of laziness because I'm not patient. I know my flaws. I've had 71 years to live with them. I know where I go wrong.
This is what we were going to talk about, wasn't it? That our natural tendency is to assume that what we do naturally, effortlessly, is not good.
Yeah.
And to strive for something else that is harder. And therefore it must be better because it's harder, because we're sort of taught to try really hard. And if we haven't tried hard, then obviously it's not good enough.
I can't even decide what colour to use now.
And that means then that you get, you're sort of doomed to fail before you've even started if you're doing what comes naturally to you. So then you look around and you try to find something that you can't do. And then, of course, you're disappointed because you can't do it.
There's an irony.
And it's, I don't know, it's strange what we do to ourselves, isn't it?
Yes. Oh my gosh, look where you are. I haven't even put paint to paper yet.
I know.
Nearly finished.
It's pink.
It's pink.
It's pink.
Pink. There's nothing quite like the moment when you put the paper down on the paint down on the paper for the very first stroke, is there? And you're like, oh my God, what am I going to do? I'm going to do this all wrong. Silence fell.
Yeah, so we were thinking about why it is that we're never happy with what we do ourselves. And I think you don't want to kind of be that cliche that says, oh, well, it all happened in childhood. It's all school's fault or our parents' fault or whatever. But it is true, isn't it, that school teaches us to strive and, or at least it did when we were at school.
It definitely judged us.
And you knew that everything you did would be judged.
Mm.
Except when I was at that Steiner school.
Oh, yeah, no, they wouldn't give anyone a mark.
That was gloriously freeing. But
I used to know somebody who actually was a teacher in a Steiner school, and he quit. He was working in America in a Steiner school, and they wanted him, he was an art teacher, and they wanted him to mark the children's art. And this was a Steiner school that was wanting that.
They all went that way in the end, didn't they?
And he refused, and they said, well, if you were not going to do that, then you can walk the walk. So he did. Went back to Germany in high dudgeon. Never forgot it.
People have principles.
Yeah, some people used to. Some people do, yeah. But that's crazy. I mean, that was the whole principle of those schools, wasn't it?
Especially in art. And then the idea is that you, as you grow older and you're more able to withstand judgment without damaging yourself or being damaged, then they would start to tell you whether you were right or wrong.
Well, yeah, kind of. But very gently. I mean, they didn't really... I don't remember the school that you went to ever really saying, no, that's wrong.
I wasn't there for
You didn't
long
get to
enough.
that level, but James
grade.
did. And he wasn't, he wasn't judged.
Yeah.
They were very good like that.
Yeah. But a lot of people don't, and certainly by the time I got further up the system, and in Canada in particular, and I think having had the experience of being at school both in Canada and in England, I, on reflection, have realised how hard the North American education system is, because it is very results oriented and not at all nurturing of creativity and so on, although certainly we did literature and that sort of thing, but it was, well, my experience was that it was quite it developed a sort of self-judgmental behaviour. I'm finding it quite hard to talk about this and try to paint at the same time because it's not a simple topic, is it?
No, and sorry. So we've kind of got onto the subject of school, and I think that's because we both feel I had a traditional English grammar school education, and that was very structured. But it did allow for a certain amount of creativity, but I didn't really take advantage of it so much as I could have done. And I know that there were people who did, though. But what I do remember from those days was being disappointed if I didn't achieve the mark I wanted, so that I would take offence and actually not try hard. And I remember being a right royal rebel. I was shocking. And if I didn't like the teacher, I would play her a merry game.
It's ironic that you became a teacher.
I know, it was my punishment.
You didn't like it when kids played you a merry game.
Nobody was as creative as me in terms of the merry games they played. Oh yes, no, this is not something I share with everybody, but I was very bad. I remember one time I decided I was going to play the silly fool on the exams. I mean, the exams. Every year we had exams twice a year we had very serious exams. And this one year I had taken a massive dislike to the history teacher. I was about 14 or 15, and I thought, I'll teach you. And so I didn't do any revision for the exam. And then when I came in and I sat down and I looked at the questions, and I think it was something to do with Henry VIII, or maybe it was, 1066 and all that. And there happened to be 1066 and all that, and there happened to be a television program on at the time called 1066 and all that. So I answered all the questions in terms of what I'd seen on the television, and it was a comedy, and it wasn't very polite either.
Oh dear!
And oh my God, I got sent to the headmistress for that, and that teacher never spoke to me again.
Oh really?
And even as far as the sixth form, where she was the mistress for lower six. I think it was
the problem, isn't it?
Yeah, she never forgave me.
You don't get to
no, I never forgave her. You can't hide, no. But I mean, that's a stupid kind of thing you do, because she had upset me because she gave me a bad mark for an essay I'd written and I thought was quite good.
Yeah.
And yeah, I just used to
cry when that happened.
Well, I probably cried too. But I got back, I thought, it's totally stupid.
Yeah, it is, isn't it?
But
stays
we do
with you,
these
though.
things.
Stays with you, though.
It certainly does. Now, I'm going to come back and embellish this one, but I've got to let it dry, so I'll do another one now. And we'll see. I'm going to do this one slightly differently. I'm going to make it wet first with just water, I think, and then I'll put something on, and we'll see how much either better or worse this one comes out for being done more loosely. So let's try it like that.
But this law of reverse effort, the idea of getting a better result when you don't try, is something that I've actually only experienced in painting, I think, or maybe music as well. It's an interesting thing because I never experienced that in school.
I did all the time.
And you did.
All the time.
I certainly never
So
did.
why is that? Why do some people have that happen and other people don't? Why is that, I wonder? We haven't even talked about that. I don't know why. You and I, we haven't discussed that today, have we? We've been talking about what we were going to say, but we didn't talk about that.
No, and I'm not sure.
I don't know.
Really, except I know that my... well, actually, thinking about it, maybe it did happen in subjects like English. I remember being very surprised sometimes when I thought I'd written an absolutely shocking essay, because we had those in-class essays in the AP classes where you would walk in expecting a normal lesson and then you'd be told, right...
Pop quiz!
Yeah, pop quizzes happened all the time, but you'd get these essays where they'd say, okay, the subject for the essay is on your desk, sit down, shut up and write an essay. You've got 45 minutes.
That would be considered child abuse now.
It was quite stressful. But I remember being... very, very convinced that I'd written a piece of utter garbage and getting a high grade on it, to the point that I thought the teacher, see, this is the thing, isn't it?
Then you disrespect
I didn't
the
believe
teacher.
the teacher. I thought she was just trying to be nice.
Oh, maybe she was.
Well, quite.
I doubt it, though, because there was nothing wrong with your English.
But that was the point that she was trying... Oh, that looks... I don't know what that looks like. That does not look like a feather. That was the point that she was trying to get across to me, that I was capable and I shouldn't leave the class.
Oh, that was when you were trying to get out of doing AP homework.
Yeah.
No, you're not going anywhere. Yes, anyway. So why is it that we don't like what we paint, but we like what other people paint, and then we give ourselves nervous breakdowns trying to imitate somebody else's work, and then we find we can't, and then we get even more depressed and disappointed? Why is that?
Because we are aiming for a result rather than remembering that the specific painting that you're painting in this moment is not the point. I think.
Yeah.
That's right, isn't it?
Yeah, I think that's what we were thinking. And the people say, oh, I paint to relax, and they've kind of got the beginning of the understanding of why it's right to paint when they say that they paint just for relaxation. But actually it goes a lot deeper than that, doesn't it? Don't you think?
The relaxation comes from experiencing colour and from the feel of the brush on the paper and the sound of the water and the fact that you're not thinking and the fact that you're not doing anything physically taxing and the fact that you're not worried or scared or anything that you might be normally. All of that goes. But if you decide, I'm going to paint a perfect three-dimensionally accurate representation of an English country cottage with a bridge and a river.
And what's more, I'm going to try to sell it.
And then I'm going to hope that someone will want to buy it. Well, then you're
onto a hiding to nothing.
You're not. That's a different thing, isn't it? That's not painting to relax. That's being a commercial artist.
Yes, that's painting to give yourself a nervous breakdown. Yeah, but if you're just doing it for the fun of it, it has the effect of kind of counteracting. I think that's what I was trying to oops, I don't want that colour. I can make that a lot more blue, even more blue. Counteracting the inhumanity that's around at the moment, because we're all subjected to this dreadful stuff that's going on. I'm not even going to say the word AI. She said, saying it. But it reconnects us with our humanness, doesn't it? When you paint, or when you draw, or when you even write with a pen or pencil. I was just writing on a piece of paper this morning, writing out a list of things that we might want to say in this podcast, and I was using a biro, just an ordinary old biro, but the paper's really smooth, and I was thinking as I was writing, this is really a lovely experience that we're denying ourselves these days. Yeah. We're not giving ourselves the tactile experience of writing. And I remember beginning to regret the loss of writing by hand when we brought in typewriters and everything was done. I remember that, and then word processors and then computers. And now we've handed everything over to ChatGPT or whatever, and we say, oh, write me a paragraph about so-and-so. You get a paragraph back, and you put it up online and you haven't even read it.
Well, I'd like to point out that we don't do that.
We don't do that. I'm just saying what some people do. It is
very commonly done because we're reading them.
Yeah, and we know when we're reading them too, don't we?
Yes.
They all have 3 adjectives, 3 nouns, three adverbs in a row, separated by commas.
If you spot a semicolon used in the right way, then you know it's AI.
Yeah. And also if you spot an emoji, yes, you know that's AI as well. Yeah. So I mustn't forget my little feathers down the bottom here, little feathers. I'm going to do them a bit differently. Do fatter ones on this one.
But we were talking about this a little. Well, we do nothing else really except talk about this sort of thing. But we were trying to work out why it is that we judge ourselves so harshly, and why it is that we can see virtue in things that other people do and not in the things that we do ourselves. And I think it is maybe because we are so used to coming short of the mark and criticising ourselves. We tend to be nicer to other people than we are to ourselves, I think, don't we, often?
More generous and accepting of people's flaws. Yeah.
Although even that's changing, of course, too, because judgmental behaviour and jumping to conclusions, assuming that things are wrong is happening a lot more and more often. But maybe if you're going to avoid becoming like that or stop yourself from being like that, maybe it has to start with yourself. They always say you have to love yourself first, don't they?
Yeah, that has been said. Definitely. Yeah. Oh, there's so many reasons why people want to try harder with their work. One thing that's just come to my mind is the fear of wasting paper. How many people don't want to relax into their painting because they're afraid if they do, they'll have, they won't have any result. There'll be nothing to show for it. It will be wasted time. And that's what I really want to kind of counter. Just counter.
Yes.
Yeah. Don't be a computer, just counter, because because you're not doing it to impress anybody. You're doing it to remind yourself that you're human.
And that hopefully is liberating, because if you say to yourself, I'm going to, I don't know, spend some money on a new pair of trainers or sneakers because I'm a runner and I need a new pair of shoes. You know, you wouldn't argue with yourself that that's important.
I would say, what happened to you? Has somebody turned your clock back? To me, that is,
yes.
When am I going to go running?
Well, that's true.
But yes, I get your point.
And you wouldn't say, oh, I can't buy a new pair of jeans when you've got a pair of jeans that has a hole in the knee and you need to wear them, you know, to visit family at the weekend.
You wouldn't say that.
You wouldn't say that.
No.
So why would you deny yourself the money that's spent on paper if you truly believe that painting is going to help you to be a better person?
Which it is.
So that's that's where it has to start, isn't it? You have to value the time. And I'm trying to persuade myself here at the same time, because I'm terrible at that. I haven't.
I'm not going to
learned
deny
that
it.
lesson.
I'm not going to deny it. You're very self that one. I'm going to literally throw this one away. That was me throwing away a pen that's been annoying me for a while.
My white isn't white enough.
Oh, that you're using the Molotov cocktail.
Yeah, but it sank in because I think my pen was wet.
Try this one. Try. Where'd you go? Have you got it out?
No, is it that?
No. Is it that? Yes. That's nice and white.
Okay, it's also big. Aye. Right.
You just have to control it.
I think I'm going to sneeze.
Bless you.
Excuse me.
Right, so let me see, what am I going to do here? I think oh, this one's broken as well. Maybe it was, perhaps the one I just threw away wasn't the one that was broken.
That's working, isn't it?
It is now, yeah. One of the reasons why we encourage people to do the daily challenges, isn't it? We were talking about that too, is that that's one way of making sure that you do a painting each day with no other reason other than you're just going to do a painting every day.
Yeah.
You've committed to it.
And the more you do, the less value each individual painting has. So then you don't put a huge amount of pressure on it to perform.
And if it doesn't work out as well as you thought it might, then you don't really care because you're so busy thinking about the next
what you're
one.
going to do next. Yeah.
Which is, I think, the real value of the daily challenge.
Yeah.
It's not necessarily going to make you into Leonardo da Vinci, but it might make you a little bit calmer and a bit less depressed sometimes, because that's something we fight, both of us, isn't it? I mean, you don't say that you're depressed, but you have a kind of anxiety, which is very similar.
I don't even know what it is. I think it's overwhelm.
Yeah.
Is that a noun? It is
Yeah,
nowadays,
it is
isn't
nowadays.
it? Like efforting is a verb.
Oh, don't say that. I won't accept that one.
I'm suffering from overwhelm because I'm efforting too much.
Yes.
Sorry. So my plan here, and I don't know whether I've entirely done it, is to try less hard, but not break away or not try to emulate anyone else's style. So I'm sort of looking at these, but I'm not trying to do the same thing really. And I'm just trying to do something that isn't very precise.
I don't know how many of our listeners know that you are, by trade, a fully paid up engineer.
No, I'm not paid up.
Oh, well.
A fully not paid up.
Well, paid up in the sense of you graduated with an extremely high thing, and I think there was a medal involved somewhere along the line, something gold. And so, you know, you have always had incredibly high standards, and there is absolutely nothing wrong with trying to live up to high standards, but you have to decide somewhere along the line, don't you, whether those high standards are going to stand you in good stead, so to speak.
I think what I'm realising is that they're not my standards.
Ah.
Because the standards that I've always lived up to have been created by other people, and I have aspired to achieve other people's standards. In other words, the school, the university, the job. You can kind of forget who you are and why you're doing things.
That's a very good point.
I don't know whether painting can help you to answer that question. I haven't done it enough yet, but maybe it can. Because my big problem is just overthinking, as you probably have noticed over the years.
Me or
You.
everyone else?
Yes.
Well, everyone has noticed how high your standards are for the videos that you've been producing for the channel for the last 5 years. And when you consider that you came into video editing with absolutely, well, almost practically no experience of video editing, I think
I hadn't done it before, that's true.
But nobody would know, really. And that's an example of what you do. You say, I'm going to do this thing, and I'm going to do it really well. And I want you, now you're the advanced age you are, I want you to stop doing that so much.
I think that we are all living in a world that is too complicated for us. And this is something I've been banging on about for a while, but I think the complexity of the world has exceeded our IQ. So we're all, in order to just stay afloat, in order to not make mistakes in administration or to not be ripped off or to, not forget things or whatever, in order to just live nowadays.
It's become very hard work.
It's actually harder than most of us can do without making ourselves ill. And I don't know that we're going to change that, but maybe we can heal ourselves with painting.
I don't know what else could heal us. I suppose music, if you actually can play an instrument, which I can't, so that's out for me. And the garden, of course, that's another one that is very healing, isn't it? But apart from that, I don't know.
What can I do other than dots? I've got too many dots. I'm going dotty over here.
I don't know. There's more examples here of different things. I must admit, a lot of mine have got dots on. These are the ones that I did when I was practicing for things. I mean,
maybe I'll try bands of colour. Probably, actually, my brush is probably too big, isn't it?
I'll swap to a smaller one.
Could do
smaller ones. Here's a small one.
Oh, thank you.
I'm not really paying, as usual, Diane, you're not paying attention. I'm not paying attention to what I'm doing. I'm just kind of doing blobs and things here and there. I'm really, really doing my best to be completely,
random.
Completely, yeah. Well, I kind of am, and I'm kind of not.
Of course, it does come with experience. The ability to not try does actually come with experience as well, doesn't it? Muscle memory and so on. I think that's true, isn't it?
Yeah, I suppose. I don't think I'm very good at anything, actually. But I can more or less control the brush still, just about. I'm looking forward to the day when I can't anymore, because I don't think that's going to be that many years away. But for now, I can still control the brush. And yeah, but it doesn't really matter if you can't. We've had a few people lately, haven't we, who've told us that they painted into their 90s. I think that's wonderful. I hope I'm still alive in my 90s and I can do that. I think I've gone off the topic here a bit. That's no good. I hate that white pen brush. Not brush, pen.
I'm experiencing discomfort here because I want to get my pen out and draw them accurately. So what I'm going to do is take this page off and start with another fresh blank page and come back to that later. Ah, yes, there it is. Thank you. So, yes. So the point of this rather random discussion was to try to unpick why it is that it's a good idea not to try so hard. And I think what we, just to kind of try to rein it back in again, we had realised that the reason that we try hard is because instinctively we don't like what we do when we don't try hard. So we often try to copy somebody else's style or to try to do something specific, but then we sort of set ourselves up for even more disappointment because we're going further away from what we're able to do. So what we were suggesting, I suppose, or proposing was the idea that we could, instead of trying harder, we could stick to what comes naturally, but to do it in a less effortful way, to do more of it with less care and allow the serendipitous more time to emerge. That's, I think, is that right? Is that what we're trying to say?
I think so, yes. Whatever comes into your mind. I mean, with these doodles that we love to do so much, you can just use your feather as a background.
But what happens when you try to doodle and no ideas come to you?
You go to your little box of doodle ideas and you pull something out to give you some inspiration. We've got the little doodle box over there. And pass it to me.
Okay.
It's not the absolute solution, but the other one, the little one, is a box that cat food came in, and it's actually perfect for putting in my doodahs here. And what I did was I put together some ideas, for shapes and things that you can do. So, because things like this you just don't think of when you're actually doing it. And there's nothing particularly spectacular here, but, why not put little leaf shapes on your feathers? Why not? It doesn't necessarily mean anything, but so that's what I do. I come over here and look and see what I've got in here. And, lines with dots, leaves, bigger dots, cactuses, teddy bear cactus.
That is a teddy bear.
It is.
That's really funny.
Yes, hi. That's what happens when you're not paying attention. Anyway, there's loads of things in here that just give you ideas, and that's what you need. Or you just, like we did here, we pulled out all of the feathers that I've done in the past and we use those as inspiration. Or you could look at it and you could say, I'm going to do the opposite to that. Or you can go to your real thing, which is even better, because after all, we are trying to get back to the roots, aren't we? Going back to nature. So why not just look at any old real feather and paint it? I don't know what I'm going to do with this one here. Look, that's a complete mess.
That's really pretty, the way that that's bled into
And that's partly because I put my hand on it.
Oh, really? That's a good technique.
Yes,
you could patent
it?
that technique. I've never heard anyone on YouTube suggest that before.
No.
As a method.
And it's 4:10. Okay. I know, I'm going to put some dark on this one. Some black.
We were going to mention that channel that you discovered earlier, weren't we? Westonberg.
I was thinking Westinghouse. They make kitchen equipment.
Westenberg. Westenberg.
It's a channel, isn't it, on YouTube?
A channel by
someone called Joan Westenberg,
who is obviously very intelligent.
Very.
And has spent a lifetime, well, half a lifetime so far, deeply involved in technology and all of the things that people who are involved in technology do to organise their days and their thoughts and their lives.
Using a thing called, what was it called? That program that she uses to organise her days? She said, I really love...
Yeah, I can't remember.
Was it?
It sounded like it was a bit like Notion, but I don't know it.
Yeah, forgotten. That's terrible, isn't it? But anyway, yes, I don't use any of those sorts of things. But yes.
But it might be worth, if you're interested in that sort of thing, checking her out. We'll put a link underneath. But she has been putting up videos only for a month or so, but on the theme of reclaiming our humanity, really, from the mechanized way of doing things that has been taught to us. And I know that quite a few of the people who watch our videos are kind of in the same boat that I'm in, trying to retrain themselves to think differently, to not be quite so logical and mechanistic, but to allow intuition in and to allow space for humanity and creativity and personality. So if you're of that ilk, you might find her interesting.
She speaks very, very well if you like thoughtful thoughts. She's a very interesting person, I think.
And not afraid...
From Australia, right?
Not afraid to admit that everything that she's been doing so far is completely wrong, and to throw it all away because she's had a bit of a revelation.
An epiphany.
About the damage that it's done to her, and
to her soul.
Having had that epiphany, she's sharing it.
I think I might have ruined that one by going black into it.
Well, it's different to how it was.
It is, isn't it? It's awful. Never mind. I'm not going to judge it.
I think you might just have done that thing.
I did, but I'm taking it back. It's not awful. I'm going to go and see if I can find some metallic on here and go metallic into it.
I suppose also, though, there is an element of, I mean, if something is bad, some things are just bad. You know, it's true, isn't it? Some things are just bad, and it's okay for something to be bad. The problem comes...
Like pizza with pineapple.
Well, quite. The problem comes when everything has to be judged, and this is something that is, I think, almost ubiquitous now, that we can't see something or experience it without having an opinion about it. And, you know, maybe things can just be. I'm not very good at that.
No, we're not, are we?
But if you look at a painting that you've done and you think, well, I'm not very happy with that, I don't think that's very good, there might be an element of truth to it not being good, but it depends, doesn't it, whether you actually feel kind of personally disappointed, mortally wounded, your ego is damaged because it's not good.
Well, I'm not going to shed any tears over a failed...
But you're quite good at that. I'm learning.
Yeah, I'm going to put my hand in that endlessly. I'm just trying to finish this green one. I tell you what, I've had so many experiences doing my feathers upside down. No, I've had so many experiences of something that I thought was going to be bad or inadequate, let's say. Inadequate, you know, like a cake even, you know, you might think, well, this isn't going to work. And you put it in the oven and it comes out and it's brilliant.
Yeah.
And then you think, I've really made it work this time. You put it in the oven, it comes out and it's absolutely inedible or whatever. And I've had so many experiences in my life similar to that, that I don't kind of tend to prejudge things anymore, because I've been constantly surprised by the fickle finger of fate, which has sometimes treated me very badly and sometimes been remarkably kind to me, you know. So Right, I try not to look on the dark side all the time.
Yeah, because that's I suppose what it comes down to, isn't it? Is if you're judging, but always judging on the pessimistic side, then you become then it's a problem.
Yeah, and you get afraid, don't you?
If you see the good, if you see the positive,
yeah,
then the judging isn't as bad, I suppose.
Try this.
Yeah, I was thinking about the hairdryer. Would you like me to pass you the hairdryer?
Yeah.
Here you go.
You can edit this out.
Okay.
Okay, that's dry now.
Yeah, that's really interesting. Is that... Oh, that's metallic paint.
I was hoping that the gold would show up more on there, but it doesn't seem to want to, so let's try putting it down the middle.
It's so difficult to be random. I know you've said this before, but like I put spirals in and I end up with
rows and rows of very tidy spirals.
Yeah, and it just doesn't work. It doesn't work in real life to have rows and rows of tidy things. Mind you, I'm quite good at that in other areas, like the garden, for example.
You can be completely random in the garden.
And that's
funny.
Easy. That's easy for me.
Why is that? Why can you do that in the garden and you can't do it on a piece of paper?
I suppose because I've had more training, doing drafting and organised things on paper and tidy handwriting and so on, but no one ever trained me in the garden. As Graham
He's been
points
doing
out.
his best.
What you need to do is rotivate and have everything in long, straight lines.
Dig it all up. It's so untidy. How can you have those pots in the garden like that? Quite easily, Graham. Yes, thank you, Lottie. Don't do that.
But if I did it like that, Graham, I wouldn't have discovered that runner beans can be perennial.
They're not meant to be perennial. Why won't he come and weed our garden for us?
I wouldn't let him near it.
No.
He would dig out my perennial runner beans. Never had so many weeds in the place than we did after he rotivated.
Yeah, that's true enough. I know what I need. I need this one.
Yeah, what am I going to do with this blue one? It's big. It needs to be taught a lesson.
What about an acrylic marker pen? Something like that.
Yeah. Where are they? Are they still in that drawer?
No, they're up there.
Over there. Oh, never mind. That's too far away. I'll have a strawberry and think about it instead. This is another example of letting the garden do its thing, because we shouldn't have these strawberries in August, really.
Not here.
And they completely failed in the spring, and then they said, oh, never mind, I'll have a go in the heat wave when there aren't so many slugs.
Is that what they said?
And I haven't watered them, even though we've got very high temperatures.
Strange.
I need dots.
I like my little 5-part dots.
Ah. Shall I try some of those in paint, or is that just
asking for trouble?
Impossible? I can definitely feel my mood lifting about now. How long have we been talking,
Half an
yakking
hour,
for?
3/4 of an hour.
3/4 of an hour, okay. So it takes 45 minutes for it to have any effect on me.
Well, we're going to do much more of this. I think it's really important because none of us want to feel miserable. And, you only live once. Oh, I quite like that. Look what that did there when I just pressed down a little bit and then flicked up.
Oh, yeah. The dry pen.
Yeah, you have to make the most of it.
I think we want bigger splodges, really. That's too slow. That's the other thing that I tend to do, is I just do everything so slowly. So then, or at least that's what I used to do, painstaking pencil drawings of crabs and fish and birds and things that really just aren't worth the effort. They look nice, but they have the wrong effect because they make you tighter and more stressed, not less. And you don't get the satisfaction of finishing it in one sitting.
I think that's the wonderful thing about the modern watercolour movement that has been stimulated by Matisse, wasn't it? He started it all. What people in England started to embrace a few years ago, quite a few years ago, actually.
Yeah, I have a feeling that there was a very influential art college teacher who has been responsible for quite a change of direction there.
I think that's quite possible. I don't know. But the idea of the deconstructed flowers and there's a very simple one flat wash rather than multiple layers, multiple, what do you call it? Not worrying about tonality, not worrying about light and shade, not worrying about dimensionality, not worrying about anything, not worrying about how the flowers in a bouquet hang together, whether they look right or not. In fact, the wronger they look, the better in a way.
But it has to have colour balance and
either that or absolute
pattern balance.
Absolute none. You know, if you can get to the point of having your violets with your vicious orange and a lime green, and so no coordination of colour at all, and make that look right, then you've really cracked it.
Yeah.
I can't do that.
But the immediacy is something that we can all, even if we can't, do what's being taught there. The immediacy we can do and sit down and try to do something, and that comes back to the challenge idea, doesn't it?
Yeah.
But if you're doing something every day, you've got to do it quickly. So you have to adjust what you do so that you can do that thing in one sitting in 10 minutes or 20 minutes or half an hour.
Which of course is what I've learned with the channel.
Yeah. And that's where, or maybe 45 minutes might be the sweet spot for me at the moment anyway, because your brain, if you're going to have an impact on your brain and on your way of being and on your biochemistry, you've got to do it for long enough for your hypothalamus and your various hormone secreting glands in your body to actually do something different, haven't you?
Mm.
So sitting down for 10 minutes every day, I suppose maybe there'll be a build-up effect.
I'm sure there is. I'm sure there is, definitely. Yeah, I'm absolutely certain.
But if you do 3 hours once a month, that's not going to have the same effect.
No, and as many other people on YouTube have said, 10 minutes a day is much better than an hour a month, 2 hours a month.
That's true of everything, of course, isn't it? Anything that you're trying to learn. So there's
like playing the piano. I used to practice for 10 minutes a day. It never got me anywhere, mind you, but that was what I was supposed to do. I think that's what you're supposed to do.
Mm.
But obviously, ideally, much more than 10 minutes a day if you're painting. And the big
10 minutes a day will get you to maybe, I haven't played the piano for ages now, but for a long time, because I have the same problem with the piano, that
there's always something more important.
Yeah, exactly.
That is the line we tell ourselves.
But you, if you're not good enough to just sit down and play something off the cuff, then you tell yourself that there's no point or you're not good enough. But I decided with the piano that I would just learn one piece.
Yeah.
So I spent 10 minutes every night for a year learning the Moonlight Sonata. Can't play anything else really, but I can kind of play that to my own. I've never performed it, but I can play it to my own satisfaction.
Yeah.
So that's quite an interesting way of doing it. I suppose you could apply that to painting as well, couldn't you? Just paint the same thing.
I can paint a feather.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm really good at feathers. Yes, Lottie, I know it's your dinner time.
I have 1,000 feather paintings. But, Monet did it.
Well, there are, again, to hark back to other YouTube channels, there are plenty of...
Lottie.
Yes, thank you. I know you're hungry. I know you're going to die if I don't feed you in the next 5 minutes. I know. But I'm not. who only paint flowers, for example, or hardly ever paint anything except flowers. And that's because actually they can't, and that's fine. You know?
That is fine. Because why are you doing it?
Yeah.
What's not fine is to lose faith in yourself because you see other people who can paint other things, and then to think that you're not. Oh, that's not quite what I intended there. That you're not worthy because you can only paint flowers.
That's where the imposter syndrome comes in, and people start to say, "I'm not good enough." Not good enough for what? Well, you've been a bit like that, and I think if this doesn't do anything else, this podcast, I hope it'll encourage other people to feel much more positive about their own work, and I'm really hoping that it's going to help you too, because we've had a very hard 5 years, and I'm not asking for sympathy or anything, but we've had some very worrying times in the last few years, and it's hard to let those things go, isn't it? Everybody who's listening at the moment, whoever is still here, will have had those kinds of experiences, and we've just had a particularly intense, like everyone else, we had the pandemic, and then there were lots of other things too, and health issues and so on and so forth. Nothing fatal or life-threatening in any way, shape or form, but it's not easy to live these days. And we're both very serious people, I'm afraid. We're not the kind of people who just take things and let them go. We want to know the wheres and wherefores and the whats and whens and so on and so forth. And all of this computer revolution that's going to change the world is causing us some stress, is it not?
It is, and I think we've been in the world of education, or we were in the world of education with children for a long time, and we put our hearts and souls into persuading or explaining to parents
why writing mattered, why learning to write mattered,
the dangers of technology, and why you had to have hands-on paint, pencil on paper, and largely falling on deaf ears, but occasionally having success. But in 25 years ago, we could see where everything was going, and it's a little bit distressing to see that it's gone exactly where you could see it was going.
Yeah.
And worse even. And
when you hear that they're not even teaching handwriting at all in Norway, you have to wonder what that's going to...
They gave up teaching handwriting in England quite some time ago as well, because they forgot what an F looked like.
Yeah, we've had enough trauma. So we're going to stop worrying about the world anymore.
So, that's it, because you realise that it's actually not, it's not what you want to be worrying about. It's just a habit.
Yeah,
it's a habit, which is what that lady in Westernburg realised. Joan. Yeah. She realised that she had become habitually addicted to criticism and worry.
Yeah, and I think we might be too. So I'm going to delete a lot of emails because I heard something really funny today on YouTube.
You're going to delete emails?
Yes, because it'll save the planet. Are we going to end on this note? This is a little story.
Storage
I
space.
heard today that in England, the wonderful Great Britain, the British Isles, the United Kingdom, England, Scotland, Wales, and so on and so forth.
And apparently Gibraltar, according to somebody online yesterday.
Gibraltar. Yes. There has been an edict issued that by the government, this is an official thing that's come from the Department of Save the Planet, and saying to people, this is true, Tamsin, do not look at me with that sceptical look on your face. This is true. I will show you the video later. That everybody should try to save water because there's a big problem in England with water. It's all going down the drain and there's not enough for what we need. No, you don't. Or maybe you do. All the water is disappearing down the drain, partially due to leaky pipes, partially due to people flushing the toilet too often, partially due to people having too many showers, but mostly due to the number of emails that people receive and keep on their servers. And people have been told that they should go ahead and delete all their emails that they have been saving for the last 10 or 20 years, because that will save water.
You see, now, if I were a conspiracy theorist that thought too much and tended to see things negatively, I would argue that was part of their plan to rewrite history.
It could be part of any one of several big plans, but what it is not is true. It is not true. The amount of water that would be saved by reducing the cooling needs of the vast
email,
yes,
which is text,
yes,
which is kilobytes.
Yes, and as the person who was doing this video said, no. You should be pointing the finger at people who use actually
AI.
Large amounts of AI in their industries. This is not the responsibility of the man in the street who has got a few hundred emails on his...
See, we're doing it again. We're getting on that high horse.
No, but I'm just telling you what he said.
Right.
And I thought that was really funny. The fact that the government could actually be so gosh darn dumb as to think that people would believe that.
Well, some people might. If it's on the BBC...
I don't know. It wasn't on the BBC.
I mean, if it's put on the BBC, then people might.
Anyway, let's hope that doesn't actually get any traction, because that's ridiculous.
There is a very strong tendency to make the general population feel guilty for things that really aren't our fault.
Things that we've been encouraged to do for the last 20 years. That is to say, have emails and not to
email was supposed to save paper, wasn't it?
Yes. So this is
why
again.
We're all mad. So the only conclusion that we can come to is that all we have left is creativity.
Yes. So there we are, 2 pages of feathers,
and the closing statement is: do you feel better than you did when you started? That's not a statement. That's a question.
That's a question. I do. I'm really quite pleased with this one,
which was looking like you weren't going to like it.
Yes, I'm quite pleased with it because I was able to just spend a bit of time fiddling around with the pen. And don't say I'm not really a fiddler, because I am a bit of a fiddler, but I'm quite happy with that one. And these have turned out okay. They're nothing special, but they're okay. They look like feathers, more or less.
And I broke out of my regimented
up to
straight lines into something slightly freer. So
you've made huge progress, and so have I really. We've both made what you could call strides, I think. This is much more black and a bit more gold.
It's a bit more creative, isn't it, than the way you started?
It's because we were talking at that time, we were talking about computers.
So so if the painting is a reflection of your mood, which it probably is, then you can judge the success of a painting session not by the painting, but by the mood that the painting represents, or by the mood that you feel, rather than judging the painting as a success or a failure. And maybe if we can do it like that, then we won't feel quite so much like we've failed.
Exactly.
When we don't like our paintings.
Exactly. So in other words, another way of putting that would be, if you feel better when you've finished, then you've had a great time. It's worth doing, yes. Yeah. So I think we're going to go now, aren't we, and feed this starving dog before she starts eating her feet.
She's going to jump on your lap in a second.
We'll say, I've just noticed this, we'll say thank you to all, everybody who's been here and listened, and please give us a like and subscribe if you haven't already. And we will see you on Tuesday with our next contribution to happiness on the planet Earth before it's destroyed by the Vogons. Have a strawberry.
Yes. Would you like a strawberry?